Okay, boys, we're gonna show you how to make ads that print money in paper lead while you're sleeping. Show you the process A to Z, complete live build out, and also break down the reasoning behind it. Not only the process, but so you at the end of the video you have an understanding of why these ads work on a foundational basis, right? So the vertical we're choosing today is tax relief, and how this vertical is the economics of it is you in the best case scenario you generate them for 30 right to 50 and you sell them anywhere from 50 to 100 depending on the customer acquisition cost of the firm, and typically they want to be acquiring new customers at $1,500. And I'm not sure of the unit economics and breakdown of their profit, but 1,500 is their target CPA, and that's all we need to know, right? Because meta leads typically on financial services they convert around like 8, in the best case scenario like 10%, right? Somewhere around like 6 to 10% because you get a lot of spam leads as well. If you're just it attracts a lot of people that just are trash leads, but we will do our best not to make ads that attract poor people, but rich buyers for these tax relief clients. So let's get straight into it, right? Straight off the bat, we've already analyzed most of the market, taking a look at the ad library. Something good that's usually you want to do is take a look at the majority of the ads library. I know it's like 2,700 results, but if you scroll like an hour, you get through half of it, and then the rest of the half you can just ignore because they're trash. But yeah, so we've collected some of the ads, and this tool is called like Get Hooked, and it's pretty good for sorting and competitive analysis because you can just save them from that meta ads library and drag them into Get Hooked, right? Which is super convenient. All right, so we see that the statics that are working in the industry are kind of these fake news ads, right? Because why those ads work is specifically because a lot of stupid people need this kind of service that are very, that just are lazy people that don't want to deal with their taxes, or poor people that don't know how to handle it or are just too broke to handle it. So rich people won't believe that this is real, right? It just looks fake because they're educated enough, I guess. But then you have other statics, right? Like another good ad that you see is getting a lot of volume, is like this John Parker. And what's not really like known about lead gen is a common theme is when you see like a basically a brand with no name and it's just a random guy's name with a stock photo, then you know they know what they're doing, because they're trying to hide kind of their company, and disguise themselves. So you can see that this is like a fake news ad, and so now we know this is one concept that's working in the it's somehow working, right? So what we can do is take this concept and reframe it or improve it for ourselves using Nano Banana, which is the best lead generation platform. No, not lead generation. My mind is just like leads, but image generation platform out there currently. So let's do that. So there are some things I specifically don't like about this ad. One thing is that they cannot really see how much, or like the 81,000 is not really pointed out, right? So basically what we can do is kind of zoom in because numbers always catch attention. It's just psychology, right? We're drawn to high contrast colors in advertisement and numbers. So what we can do is kind of zoom in the number, and then we can make this guy, I don't want to be racist, but I would say like a large portion, like I don't think it makes a difference. So let's just leave it at that. But maybe switching him into a white person would be more relatable. But actually, like I need to fucking cut this part out. That's so racist. But anyways, you go down and you say like, why are you still paying 100% of your IRS debt? Right, millions qualified to wipe out 9%. Stop being a sucker. So it is kind of an aggressive call out, which is why I guess the click through rate. So how many people click out of 100 must be pretty high. So it's a nice call out. However, what I do not like about it is that it's just so freaking ugly to read, right? You just take a look at it and it's just white on this mixed table background, and we're gonna make a nice, clean version that's way easier to read, and try to see if we can also improve the copy. Okay, so now you guys see how much better that is and how much cleaner, right? It's to a certain extent it's just easier to read. And what we can do to improve the copywriting while you're still paying 100% of your IRS debt, millions qualified to wipe out 90%, stop being a sucker, right? So instead of millions, we can be a bit more specific, right? So we can say 87%. Like, why are you saying 87? Well, because it's like a believable number. So 87% qualified to wipe out. Okay, actually that sounds weird. 87% qualified. 87% of Americans qualified to wipe out 90%. Stop being a sucker, right? So we can change it to that. And I would also love to change the person, and to also maybe have this a bit enlarged. So that's what we're going to do. So, guys, the lead generation thing failed. Makes me sad. Okay, just imagine this be better, right? I'm gonna move on to something even more fun, because what we're gonna do right now, right, is we're going to go to Pinterest, and we're gonna take one of the winning ads inside of like, that's just insanely simple and just super good copywriting, from Clean Start Today. They're an actual company and they do have a very good media buyer. So this is one of the ads that has been seen millions of times, right? Because they're top ranked in the ad library. Like I said, I keep repeating this. The top ads are like in the very top. Um, so the most viewed ads, it's sorted by views, right? So when you can see here, impressions high to low, and this is like the top second ad. So you know the copywriting is doing good. What we're essentially doing is we're taking the copywriting, right? We're taking the copywriting and what we're feeding into ChatGPT. Can you make this into a script for Sora and also prompt a beautiful AI UGC actress saying it should be longer than 15 seconds? And I cannot spell. And then what we want to basically do is go to Pinterest. It's always a great platform to have exceptionally commercially viable visuals, so to say, right? We're using big boy words now. Oh my God, I think I fallen in love. All right. Sorry there. I got distracted. But yeah, we can just take somebody like her, right? That looks kind of real. I mean, they all kind of look real, but you get my point. And then we're gonna do an ad with her as well, just for fun. So basically, what you want to do is, I mean, if you use like Argil or Arc ads and everything, they just overcharge the balls out of you. So don't use them. Instead, go into, because essentially with all these AI platforms, they're using the same models on the back end, like just Google and OpenAI. So what we're doing is going into Gemini Studio, and what you can do, I'm not gonna walk you through this because it's so easy, right? You can just go to code your own platform, and you basically ask it to. I basically told it, build me a video generator, image to text, and also please make it extendable in vertical format. So it takes like 3 seconds and then 2 more minutes to wait to build it out. And what's great about this is it allows you to extend the video, right? And it just makes it so much more believable. And VO 3.1, which is the newest model of Google, is almost as good as Sora. So here you go. You can just, like, we have the current video. Just look.
Okay, if you've been stressing about back taxes, just listen for a second. I didn't even know this existed until recently, but there's something called the IRS Fresh Start Program, and it's basically helping people.
So it is essentially indistinguishable from reality. And if you had to like hire a UGC actress to do this, it would cost you like $100 minimum. She has pretty privilege, so I say 200, and this costs you like $0.5 for 8 seconds or something like that. I don't really know. And then what you want to go into is basically copy the script. We started here, and it's called the IRS Fresh Start Program, and it's basically helping people reduce or even completely eliminate what they own. So some kind of IRS Fresh Start program what they feel like subconsciously, okay, this is like an IRS official thing, right? Which it is, right? It's been like introduced a decade ago, and not a lot of people, I guess most of it don't know about it. And it's basically helping people reduce or even completely eliminate what they owe, right? So there's like A to B increase from helping to completely eliminating, and it catches attention, and builds also the drama a bit. And obviously, this all on an unconscious level, right? All of this copywriting stuff is because we're not, when we're doom scrolling on our phone, we don't really think that hard. Like a lot of people with tax debt are actually using this right now and getting real relief. So what we can do is be more precise. So like 80%, like 90% of people with tax debt are actually using this right now and getting real relief. From what I've seen, it can lower your payments or wipe out a big chunk of your balance depending on your situation, right? Process is simple, just takes a few minutes to see if you qualify. It just takes a few minutes. Minutes is still too long. A few seconds, because it does take a few seconds for them to fill out the quiz at least. If you got tax debt hanging over you, it's definitely worth at least checking out, right? Just trying to help. All right, this makes it sort of more like UGC, or what we can do is like just trying to help. The goal is to make it not look like an ad, right? So people believe that it's just somebody trying to help, or like they're unconsciously more likely to click if it's not like formatted as an ad and it's just somebody trying to give advice genuinely, just trying to help. I've been where you're at, where you're at, and it sucks. So it's like kind of conversational, the script, which matters, right? It is good to have it to be conversational. So the people that are watching it feel like they're directly talked to by a hot, like, Caribbean girl. Iris. And I would always recommend using hot girls in advertisement because they're like the common denominator of what attracts attention. And I would say she's like a solid 8 out of 10. Like if she were Russian, she would be a 10 out of 10. And it's basically helping people reduce or completely eliminate what they owe. Like 9% of people with tax debt are actually using this right now. Okay, well, so let's try to extend it and see what happens.
Will reduce or even completely eliminate what they owe. Like 90% of people with tax debt are actually using this right now and
Okay, so it has, you see, it's like kind of streamlined, right? Which is kind of cool. So, fuck. Okay, boys, we're being an idiot, and I kind of clicked on the wrong button, so we're at zero.
Okay, if you've been stressing about back taxes, just listen for a second. I didn't even know this existed until recently, but there's something called the IRS Fresh Start program, and it's basically helping people reduce or even completely eliminate what they owe. Like 90% of people with tax debt are actually using this right now and getting real relief. From what I've seen, it can lower your payments. And the process is way simpler than I expected, and it takes just a few seconds to see if you qualify. If you've got tax debt hanging over you, it's definitely worth at least checking out.
Second. Okay, I'm kind of sad because we cannot create another ad with this freaking 10 out of 10. No video generated. This kid, due to what safety filter, man? She's like not indecent. So sometimes it takes a few tries. So we're gonna choose her, I guess. Like solid 8 out of 10. 1 second. There we go. Screenshot it. Okay, boys, we finally did it. And this is the end product, which kind of looks a bit distorted and not like super fresh, but it makes it look more organic, like that it's not extremely commercialized, perfect content shot on the camera, right? And people these days, they see too much perfect content on Instagram. So this might be a scroll stopper. Also, she is a scroll stopper for sure. To make it even more organic looking, you can add a little comment that makes it seem it's not really an ad, right? It's just somebody responding to a comment. And let me show you how that looks like.
Okay, if you've been stressing about back taxes, just listen for a second. I didn't even know this existed until recently, but there's something called the IRS Fresh Start program, and the process is way simpler than I expected. If you've got tax debt hanging over you, it's definitely worth at least checking out. I've been where you're at, and it sucks.
So essentially, the comment makes it more organic, and all of this obviously is like the first 3 seconds, so they get hooked in, right? Because our normal reaction to any advertisement is just scrolling away, right? If we like subconsciously register as an ad, we just fucking on reflex click away. So our job as marketers is to negate that and make sure that at least on the first 3 seconds to get hooked in, they believe it to be a valuable piece of information that they want to spend their life energy on. And then here I made a normal ad basically, that is kind of just a different person, with a different gender and a different race, and yeah, a woman from Russia. She doesn't look Russian. She looks American. But anyways, why are you still paying 100% of your IRS debt? 87% of Americans qualify to wipe out 9% of debt. Stop being a sucker. So a bit better, right? Looks a bit more professional. There definitely still improvement here, but for now, it will do the job. So we did like 2 ads in 20 minutes. Took me a bit more than 20 minutes, but you see, with the help of AI, you can actually do quality ads quite well in a fast amount of time. So I hope this video helped, and I have a Telegram chat in case you want like the ChatGPT prompt or anything else.